What's he going to say? What's he going to say? Dak's done. My season's over. We'll get him next year. I mean, what? Of course he's going to talk Cooper Rush up. He should. He should give the young man some confidence.
Drew, you sometimes like when guys talk the backup up, and you put a lot of stock into it. I feel like we had a whole Kyle Trask saga based on how seriously you took those comments.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like what he's saying.
Yeah.
No, because Kyle was during training camp.
Oh, that's different.
That's different because you're battling, and Baker wasn't. Baker hadn't solidified anything at that point. That's totally different.
Do you think a Cowboys upset is on the board, bro?
No. Not beyond any given Sunday. You know, like anything can happen. Sure. That's why you play the games. You never know, of course. They're all professional football players. But realistically, no. Not in the least bit. Now, I know Philly, Nick Sirianni even stuck his foot in his mouth today. So he could maybe do something crazy, but I don't expect that to happen. Philly runs the football really well. Dallas doesn't stop the run.
That's true.
Philly is playing great, has a ton of momentum. This is a rival. It's a division rival. If I'm Philadelphia, and I'm sure they're feeling this way, I want to kick the Cowboys while they're down. All right? I want to stump a mud hole on them. And so, I think Philly's not going to take them lightly, and they're going to put it on the Cowboys and blow them out in Jerry World like everybody else has this year.
The Cowboys have nothing really to prove, but they have everything to gain. We don't believe that they can win this game. In that locker room, they know that everyone outside that locker room doesn't believe that they can win this game. So is it an upset alert? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wow.
Twist.
He got it in the misdirection. Well done, Greg.
I'm going to be honest,
well
man. I tried, Wilds. I really tried to find the ways. But with the way that Philly is playing right now, early in the season, if they would have met them and this was the circumstance, I would say, you know what, Cowboys got a shot. Because Philly was trying to overcome themselves, find who they were offensively, get into a consistency, a flow. They weren't there yet. After beating the Bengals and winning last week, Philly has found out who they are. Jalen Hurts is playing really good ball. Defensively, one of our number one knocks on this team all of last year. They have solidified who they are in the running game for the most part and definitely in the back end. And so when you think about the Cowboys, the only way that they could have a chance to upset this team is if Philly reverts back to who they were last season.
Well, there's another chance.
With the coach. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
I mean, the thing is this. When Nick Sirianni's patrolling the sidelines, an upset's never too far away.
That's exactly right.
And Brew referenced it. This happened just a couple hours ago. Jalen Hurts missed practice this week, was listed as out with rest. So I heard the voice in the press conference. It's my old Syracuse colleague, great writer, Zach Berman, who covers the Eagles now, asked him, hey, so is Jalen on some type of load management programming? I mean, when that guy...
What are we doing?
...is the person in charge of...
What are we doing?
If that guy's the head chef of the restaurant, you're always on the board for a route of food poisoning.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good the ingredients are, doesn't matter how good the wait staff is. It's always more than on the board.
At least a hair or two.
It's on the board. And then there's the other factor, which is, I think we saw last year, Jalen Hurts, when he's banged up, is not quite as effective. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons I have felt, Brew...
He needs to run. Yeah.
Right. One of the reasons... Listen, I'm not acting like he can't throw, and his deep ball, I said it earlier this week, it's a lot like when young Russell Wilson, the mobility plus the moon ball is... For him, it's not as much of a moon ball, but the deep shots to A.J. Brown, Devontae are brilliant. But if he is really dealing with an ankle lower leg injury and is not going to run as much, or by running he aggravated it, that is a bit of a concern when... Micah Parsons is going to be back. Oh. So that's the other piece of it, KW. Listen, I'm not the...
Because Micah was there when New Orleans put 44 on him.
No doubt about it. And I'm not acting like
rested.
The Cowboys are great, and the Cowboys with Cooper Rush are obviously far from great. But it is noteworthy to me that a guy that I think we all think is one of the 10 best players in the whole league is going to be back on this team this week, so that matters at least a little bit.
So right. I bet you don't have it as an alert. You on the board.
Well, I don't. You guys know I don't do upset alert.
I tell you as an
Nick fix. That's
I have it as an upset alert, partially because what you always say. When teams lose games, you know what Greg always says? Division game.
Yeah.
These division games are hard. So, Dusty, I know my graphics might not be in order, but can we pull up 7-point or more underdogs in division games? How have they been doing? Well, straight up, they're 4-2. Against their spread, they are undefeated in a tie.
Yeah.
So, this game's at 7.5. So already, every game has not been 7, so it's going to be close. This one's also at home. And I know, Greg, everything you said about the Eagles, I agree with. Saquon's playing great. Jalen's playing pretty good. He's not turning the ball over. AJ's playing good. Like, everybody's rolling. Why did they need a game-ending interception from the Prince who was promised? That was in Philadelphia, correct? At home.
Right, an injured Prince, no less.
Terribly well, I don't know about that. Yeah. In Philadelphia, after being up 22-0, because the team is ripe for falling apart. I'm not saying it's happening, but every once in a while during the game, you hear a little bit of somebody slapping the bass, like bow, bow. It's like, what was that? It's a little bit of funk. It's a ghost. It's a ghost playing
but coming off a game like that could help them too. Like now they're on alert. Like, look, we almost let go of the rope last
Yeah,
time.
just for me, I think when you think about that game, the Jags showed some type of fight. They showed some semblance of fight.
You don't think Dallas will have it?
We will
Rejuvenated?
See. We will see.
I mean,
they
a lot of Cooper Rush
stuff.
A lot of Cooper Rush stuff.
They have to, but this one, it's a division game. And there's no Dak Prescott for the stats that we always put up and how great Dak is against the conference in that division and all. That's not. You can't roll that out there.
Cooper Rush. How many games has Dak lost in his
There's
career?
a difference between Dak and Cooper. Huh?
There's
More
definitely a
than one,
difference from a career standpoint.
Okay.
So can I hold on? The Brew is still trying to
trying to
argue
convince
about
him that all week.
Can I just say something real quick before we move on?
Yeah.
I know
We got nowhere to move on to.
I know I wasn't here yesterday, but what did you guys do to Wilds where in the first 35 minutes of today's show he has passionately made the argument against quarterback wins and then followed it up with the Cowboys at home are going to play great?
Because
these are like the two biggest contradictions of your team.
I have another one.
Yeah.
I have another one too.
Yeah.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
Dusty, can you put up fewest points off takeaway in the first 8 games? This is a stat that is so bad. It is the rare stat. If you aspire and you have a sports podcast or you want to get on television, talk sports, this is a little trick, a little life hack. Sometimes the worst stats are actually good because you put up. This is historically bad. This is absurd.
So it's going to regress to the mean.
Right.
Can't be this bad.
This is one of
It's
my
like, when is it due for
rhetorical
rain? It hasn't rained in 300 days. Woof. I wouldn't bet against rain. Let me just say that. I'm just telling you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.